In America's long and unfinished fight for justice, there was a man who believed that the law could be the most powerful weapon against oppression. A man who spent his life in courtrooms, challenging the barriers of segregation, inequality, and racial injustice. His name was Thurgood Marshall. This is his story, the journey of a man who reshaped the legal landscape of America and became the first Black Supreme Court Justice. Thurgood Marshall was born on July 2, 1908, in Baltimore, Maryland. His mother was a school teacher, and his father, a railroad porter, instilled in him a love for debate and justice. At a young age, Thurgood witnessed firsthand the harsh realities of segregation and racism, but he was taught that knowledge and the law could be used to fight injustice. After graduating from Lincoln University in 1930, Thurgood aspired to attend law school at the University of Maryland, but the school refused to admit Black students. Instead, he enrolled at Howard University School of Law, where he was mentored by Charles Hamilton Houston, a man who would shape his mission to dismantle segregation. After graduating at the top of his class in 1933, Marshall joined the NAACP, dedicating his career to fighting racial injustice. He traveled across the country, taking on cases that others were afraid to touch, cases that would chip away at the very foundation of segregation. In the case Murray versus Pearson, 1935, Marshall argued against the University of Maryland's segregationist policies. Marshall's first major victory forced the University of Maryland to integrate, a personal triumph after his own rejection from the school. In 1950, Thurgood Marshall argued the case for Sweat versus Painter, which involved an African American man, Heman Marion Sweat, who was denied admission to the University of Texas Law School solely because of his race, challenging the separate but equal doctrine of racial segregation, and ultimately leading the Supreme Court to rule that the state's racially separate law school was unequal, paving the way for later desegregation cases like Brown versus Board of Education. The case that revolutionized America, Brown versus Board of Education, had arrived. In 1954, Thurgood Marshall stood before the Supreme Court, delivering a historic argument
Separate educational facilities are inherently unequal.
that racial segregation in schools was unconstitutional. May 17, 1954. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously segregation in public schools was unconstitutional. This victory was a monumental step in the civil rights movement, proving that justice could be achieved through the courts.
The Supreme Court of the United States has decided that separate public educational facilities for the races are inherently unequal, and therefore compulsory school segregation laws are unconstitutional.
Despite the ruling, the struggle was far from over. Marshall continued his work, defending activists and pushing for further legal protections. He played a key role in cases like Gomillion versus Lightfoot in 1960, fighting racial gerrymandering, and Alexander versus Holmes County Board of Education in 1969, enforcing desegregation orders.
Just talked to the Chief Justice and informed him that I shall send to the Senate this afternoon the nomination of Mr. Thurgood Marshall, Solicitor General, to the position of Associate Justice, Supreme Court.
June 13, 1967, Thurgood Marshall made history again. President Lyndon B. Johnson nominated him as the first Black Supreme Court Justice, saying, "It's the right thing to do, the right time to do it, and the right man to do it." On the Supreme Court, Marshall remained a champion of justice, fighting for civil rights, workers' rights, and the rights of the marginalized. His opinions shaped policies on affirmative action, death penalty reform, and voting rights. Thurgood Marshall retired in 1991, leaving behind a legacy of progress. His work paved the way for a more just America, proving that the law could be wielded as a tool for good. Thurgood Marshall once said, "Where you see wrong or inequality or injustice, speak out. Because this is your country. This is your democracy. Make it, protect it, pass it on." His story is a testament to the power of perseverance, the impact of law, and the enduring fight for justice. Thank you for watching History's Gifted Past, Present, and Future. Subscribe for more stories of the past that shape our future.